Hello everybody, welcome back. DJ Vic Vapor with you. Bitwig Studio, another advanced concept session, and I'm just going to explore some ideas that I thought of kind of in the middle of a sleepless night, and that's working with the sampler, Bitwig sampler, and specifically the multi-sampler. I had experimented with it a few weeks ago and then got busy with a few other projects, but had a little bit of a sleepless night, and sometimes some creativity comes from that. So no real specific direction here, just kind of want to tinker around with it, and maybe you guys can learn a couple things that might inspire you as far as moving forward in sound design and taking advantage of Bitwig's sampler and multi-sample edit mode. So I may not be chatting too much, but let's see what we can come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up here. Grab sampler. Excuse me, clear my throat here for a second. All right, just had a little bit of a coffee there. Wanted to clear my throat. All right, so the sampler. So what we've got when you first open it up is this blank area that you can click to browse and drag something in, or you can drag something in from your menu over there. But what you can do to really explore kind of the power that's hidden with this little guy is just anywhere in this area that's blank, just go ahead and right click, and then you go down here to the bottom of the menu and select create new multi-sample. So let's do that. So now we've got this opened up for us. So what we've got here obviously is the range of the keyboard. So I'm going to click not on replace but on edit multi-sample, and now we've got a pretty cool little screen right here that's going to allow us to drag in samples from our menu or our library. So I've got a variety of crazy samples here that I've made and manufactured over the years, and this specific one right here called IR samples, it was made for some projects I work with in another DAW, or I could be projects I work with in Bitwig as well, I guess, but it's specific to convolution reverb. So I've made my own IR or convolution reverb samples, and I'll let you hear a few to see what I'm talking about. So what you can hear there is they're just kind of, I just recorded various sounds, and I've probably got, I don't know, 300 or 400 here. Just gave them crazy names, but they're all samples that I recorded with like just pure reverb, just kind of hardcore wet reverb, and I drag those typically into a convolution reverb and use them as the space or the the room sound. But in this particular example, I'm just going to start working with some of them here in the sampler. So I'm not going to really be too specific here. I'm just going to kind of browse through here. Let me get a section where there's a variety, and we will go with that. I don't need you to play. So I'm going to count these, so make sure I guess I don't need to. I'm just going to grab a bunch. I'll click that one and scroll down a ways here, and shift and grab the whole section. Now I'm going to click and drag them over here, and now you can see I can put them just about anywhere I want on the keyboard. And while I'm holding click still, I haven't let off the mouse, if I go down, it makes the samples all wider. See how they're getting wider? That means that more keys cover one specific sound. So like right there, it's like, looks like 2 keys or maybe even 3 keys if you count a black one would cover one specific sound. But if I push my mouse up while I'm still holding the click, I can isolate it to each sound goes to one specific key on the keyboard. And that's kind of where I want to go. So I'm going to go somewhere near the middle here. Or actually, I'm going to put these, since they're reverbs, I'm going to try to keep them, I think the idea here, Actually, I'm gonna get more. I don't have enough. Let's do that. Let's get a little greedy here and make sure we get a big selection. Need to turn that off. It's getting annoying. All right, so let me go here and see if I can't just get too many. All right, so Greg, come back over. What did I do wrong? Maybe I have too many there, so maybe you can get too many. All right, so we'll go here to here. Yeah, there we go. Bring them over, Bitwig, come on. Here we go. All right, so I go up, up, up. What do I got? Man, I do have a lot, don't I? All right, that's too many. So let's not get so greedy. All right, so we will go, say right here to here. That's better. All right, so what I'm trying to do is just get the top portion of my keyboard. Man, that's still too many. Hopefully you're not listening to the sirens outside. Sounds like they're running some sort of local test. All right, one more try here. We'll get this figured out. I'm getting a little too greedy. That looks better maybe. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to go isolate these to individual keys. And now I've got basically the top portion of my keyboard with these reverb sounds right here. It may be a little more than I want, so I'm just going to go maybe to like right here and get rid of that section, so that looks a little bit better. All right, so let me, yeah, I'll just leave that for now. That's good enough. All right, so let's get some more samples here. Let's go with some of these guys right here. And these are just a bunch of, from Sonus, just a bunch of random sounds of, it's hard to explain, just like crowd noise, things like that. Let me fire this back up for us. Never fails. You turn on the mic to do a little tutorial and you get some crazy background noise. Anyhow, so it's like these ambient kind of crowd noises, things like that. I mean, there's guns, you know, just a variety of cool stuff. So I'm going to fill up this middle section with some of these kind of guys right here. Let me find something I like. Let's go with, what's that look like? It's not very many. Problem is there aren't a whole lot of. Make sure I turn this back off. Shift, drag. Now by highlighting those and going near the bottom, I can just raise them up. And I'll explain. The benefit of that is I can layer more samples underneath of it. And then depending on the velocity that any of these keys are hit, how hard the velocity, how hard they're hit, triggers whether it's this top sample, the middle sample, or any samples below. It's just by the velocity. And I'll kind of show you where I'm going with that, because that's kind of the fun of what I have in mind and kind of the brainstorm I gave myself. So let me just go through the process here of loading up samples and getting a variety in here. And there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm grabbing. I'm just grabbing stuff that can help us have a good variety of sounds to work with. So let me get these guys over here. Excuse me again, they're on my throat. They don't all have to be perfectly the same, just somewhere in the ballpark. So let's go. Industrial could be good. Let's see what that sounds like. Taking a second to load some of these samples because they're on an external drive. Okay. Let's see what else we can grab here. Try to make this a little quicker now that I've given you an idea what I'm doing. It takes a little practice, just some mouse work. Whether you move up or down there makes a big difference. So let me get these populated. Got a little ways to go. If you're bored or familiar with this already and it's something you've done, you can always fast forward through the video at this point if you want. That's fine. There we go. Alright, it's a pretty good section right there for those. What other sounds can we get crazy with here? Let's see. Let me see what I've got in the Vengeance. Effects. Atmos. Hits and explode. Let's get some of these guys going here. It's okay if you lay it over top of the other ones, because ultimately you can go from the top here now. If my mount, there it is, and I can just pull down and meet those around the bottom. That's kind of the concept. It can be touching, it doesn't have to be perfect in by any means. And we will come back over here because we don't want those. And perfect. That little gap doesn't make a difference for ultimately for what we're doing. I mean, would be nice to pull them down a little bit there. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right, so we've got a layer there. We've got a full reverb layer on top. We've got a Atmos layer from Vengeance on the bottom there. Let's populate something in the middle and then something on the bottom. So what else can we find? I want to stay in there, so let's find something else. Minimal house. What is in here? Bass drums, FX sounds, minimal loops, synth shots. That sounds like something we can use. Put those guys right in here. And we will go up about halfway. Alright, so let's go with some, yeah, I'll grab some minimal loops. How about that? Oh, it's quite a bit. I'll just have to get rid of some of them. Well, let's just get a little bit less. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. All right, and you guys can go there. Then we'll come down from the top here. Even that guy up right there. And this will all make sense in a minute. And when you see the result of what we can accomplish, it's pretty awesome. Let me get rid of these, make it even. Keep it even, Steven. A little OCD kicking in there. Percussion, yeah, we might be able to use some percussion. Just trying to get a biggest variety of sounds possible to make this more effective. Let's go with that. And we will, did we already do? I think I did. Let's go with sound effects. We've got impacts. Really don't want sweeps. What's in the Atmos? No. I would like something more percussion-y. Tonal. Hits and explode. Down left bonus Atmos. What's in here? Basses. Yeah, we can do some basses. Special sounds. That might be cool. Let's get those. So where was the basses at? That would be cool. All right, so that's a pretty cool layer. I've got 3 different samples layered within that little range of keys right there. What can we do down on the bottom? Let's do something on the bottom here. Electro Essentials. Well, they've got melody kits, real recording snares, synth shots, bass drums, percussion. Instruments, what's that? That might be too many samples here. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Well, let's just Command Z. There we go. It was just a little bit too much, so I need a smaller range right there. Let's just go with like 23, I guess. That should do it. And I'm not going to multi-sample that. I'm just going to leave it as is. So we've got a pretty good eclectic. We've got a lot of reverb, and then we've got a lot of multi-sampled stuff right down the middle of the keyboard range, and then just some percussion-y stuff at the very bottom. So that's good enough for this video. I don't want to spend too much time loading this guy up. Just want to give you guys a complete idea what it looks like to load those samples and kind of how to get in here and work with it. Let me close this down. So the benefit now, though, is you can see as I've got this particular group highlighted, I can say, okay, I want to loop it. You know, I can work with some editing here. I want to maybe reverse samples, you know, things like that, start them differently, and put different key ranges, assign different high lows and stuff. I'm not really going to worry about that. I just want you to know it is an option. I mean, you can go in and highlight any of these, and you know, like this loop right here, I could reverse, do whatever. I mean, you can get pretty creative, but for this tutorial, I'm going to limit that creativity or that craziness. So exit out of that. So now we've got this guy loaded up with some samples. I could bring in some chords. I think I might work with actually what I'm going to do here is go ahead and save this. Let's name it Vapors Glitch Sampler, because it's going to probably be pretty glitchy. So category would be, let's see, what would be a good category for that? Multi-effects, tags, sampler, multi-vic vapor. So got enough in there. All right, so that won't go anywhere. The reason I saved it is I may want to bring it into a different project here and play some chords against it. For now, I'm just going to mess around with notes. So let's get a clip in here, and let's make it. Yeah, we'll just leave it one bar for now. So now you see if you get on the keyboard, just a crazy amount of sounds, but the sounds aren't being all fully triggered, because what we need to do to get these multi-layered ones where I've got more than one layer on a key, to get those to all trigger, we need to have, those are specific to the velocity that the key is striked at, like how, you know, see, it's just one sound, but potentially there's probably 3 sounds available there, but I'll show you how we can access that. So let's just, I'm going to put random notes in, you know, maybe try to create some sort of rhythm, but I'm not too worried about whatever we come up with. All right, that should, let's see what we get out of that. Let's put a loop on that for 1 bar. All right, so not bad. I mean, pretty cool, just for goofing around here. But let's take it a step further here. Let's open up, click on the loop there, and let's open up the inspector. And now to access our velocity, we can do it here. You know, you can go through and drag and drop and move these around and push them up and down. But the quicker, more fun and efficient way is to open up the little chaos box here. Now, chaos is going to do that for me. See, it's going to adjust all those velocities. It's going to allow me access to all those samples now. It's going to sound completely different now when I play it. See, now we're getting, let me show you. If you look on here, the ones that are hitting and highlighting, you can see now it's going up and down, and it's accessing more samples on the grid. All right, so let me just keep moving stuff around here. Follow along. So let's go back to the chaos. So you get the idea there. You can really start to manipulate the sounds. Now I just like to mess with the pattern a little bit and see what we can come up with from there. Just by inverting, and you know, we've got the full range of the keyboard here, so let's take and make use of it. And you can go back to the sampler now, and I can move the glide because I've got notes overlapping. And you can see here how they're being triggered and what range you're getting out of them. And then velocity sensitivity is going to change that as well. So I'm going to put an LFO effect on this velocity. Let's do LFO 2. Let's leave the depth alone, and let's go ahead and change this to time beat. Let's leave it on 8th notes. Let's mess around with the filter a little bit and see if that'll help us. And let's look at our pattern again. I'm happy about those two, so just listening for something that sounds cool here. So let's go back here to this, and let's go ahead and say, yeah. Just gonna mess around with a few of these, find some that are being used. Let's just start over on that. I don't like that clip. So I will try one more clip. Alright, so that's a little bit better. So leave everything kind of as is. I'm happy with that. But let's take this a little bit further. And to explore ways to get access to more of this, I am going to say arpeggiate me. Now the fun begins. We want octaves so we can go up and down in that range because we've got different samples here. go back to this guy and get some velocity moving since I changed that clip. I'm going to move all these down more. Just moved them down an octave. A couple octaves. Now we're getting a better range of triggers here. We can move this back up. There we go. And again, since velocity is such a key to us, we always want to be paying attention to how we manipulate that. Slow that velocity sensitivity down a little bit there. Just keep massaging this until we find something fun that sounds cool. So just goofing around like this, you can obviously come up with some pretty creative sounds. See what we can come up with by constraining a few of these. Just grabbing a little loop here to see if we can have some fun with it. And just like that, the mayhem begins. Let's see. Get a note receiver on this guy. And let's make the source our glitch sampler. And now let's go add our glitch sampler. Guess it takes a second to get all those samples loaded again. I'm working off of an external hard drive, so got it. So now I've got this guy playing not just the one up here, but down here as well. let's go ahead and mess around with that velocity sensitivity a little bit. Since that is our key. See if we can move it up a couple octaves here. So once you have one created, I mean, it's just game on. Kind of do whatever you want. I mean, I haven't even added any effects. You know, we can definitely get into dialing in some effects. So. See if we can't get us a kick drum on there. So hopefully you got the idea. Pretty creative way to mess with the multi-sampler and edit and make your own sounds in a very unique and creative and intuitive way without putting too much thought into it. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to let me bring in some chords. I brought in the ARP there, but let me bring in some chords and see what happens if we put a chord clip on this guy right here. So let's open up our menu again and let's go back here, and this should see. Now this may, it may be okay. I'm thinking with the arpeggiator it may give us some different ranges, but let's see. Not too different there, because again the arpeggiator is doing the work for us here. A little bit better there. It's pretty wild. You know what we can do is we can actually put an LFO on the arpeggiator and randomize, or at least modulate the randomization or the selection. So let's put the arpeggiator in here and hit that. changing the pattern for us in a random way, but it's going a little too quick to hear it. Excuse me, all we have to do is slow it down. Now we're going to get a pretty good variety of sounds out of it. So I want to expand this a little bit here. So let's put a clip number 2 in here. And on this clip, we are going to do some different notes. We're going to do something a little bit longer. So we got to go back and make sure we're manipulating velocity on the new ones we've added. So not a bad little groove, just goofing around and showing you the idea of getting a lot of creativity out of the multi-sampler. I'm sure you've probably thought of a couple cool things you could do yourself, but there's a great way to kill some time and experiment with the powers of the Bitwig Studio sampler, and specifically the multi-sample mode. You can create some really unique instruments and really unique flavors and sounds that way. So hopefully you had fun tuning in and hanging out and watching the video. And as always, share, subscribe, like, and enjoy. Peace.